Fellow Barbadians, we have been counseled, and I think rightly and wisely so, that at 53, we must be able to have those difficult conversations. As I congratulate our people on the proud achievement of our 53rd anniversary as an independent democracy, I wish, not for the first time, to broach a few of those difficult issues over which we must ponder and make the subject of more meaningful, enriching, and purposeful national dialogue. There are a few significant and enduring challenges which we must face up to as a nation. There are also a few major commitments to which we more maturely must subscribe and further actualize. Time today does not allow exhaustive reference to the full menu of either challenges or commitments. And so in this brief conversation with you, I make reference to an obvious few. There's an obvious persistent challenge to the notion of our sovereignty. It is a challenge faced by all small developing states in this globalized environment of supranational dominance and market internationalization. Small states in this world's vast oceans frequently find themselves buffeted by the currents of the organized and orchestrated energies of the elite players. The institutional challenge, the cultural challenge, and what I call the capital challenge are three such areas of challenge to the exercise of our sovereign discretion. Already in this current session of Parliament, the deliberations and indeed the decisions of both the lower and upper houses have been both guided and forced by pressures from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the European Union, the Financial Action Task Force, the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, the International Monetary Fund. They have largely dictated our parliamentary agenda and indeed determined its vote. Ways must be found to mitigate the negative influence of such institutions. Of critical importance as well is the fact that the integrity and maturity of our institutional and constitutional architecture remains subject to question as long as we fail to complete the independence journey. Again, I call on government to lead in both the conversation around and the conversion to republic status for Barbados. This is a commitment we must unreservedly make as a people. The cultural challenge is to be ourselves at home while welcoming the world, to believe in ourselves while respecting the achievements of others, and to brand ourselves while we integrate with others away from home. Universal access to all technologies renders a popular tourist jurisdiction already exposed to cultural penetration even more so vulnerable to such. Our cultural mores and peculiarities make us distinctly Barbadian. That character must ever be enhanced in the global melting pot of today's world, but must never be subverted by or subsumed under the inferior awnings of flimsy and frivolous alternatives. The capital challenge is both bothersome and lingering. Our model of economic development and investment orientation yields much power to capital, bent on extraction of gains from our shores. Our model of economic development and investment orientation lends itself too much to persistent underdevelopment. Our model of economic development and investment orientation does not sufficiently give evidence of skills transfer or recognition of Barbadian labor quality or qualification. The sandals surrender of former times and the now sandals standoff, the Hyatt-related recent Bay Street happenings, the unrestricted fees-seeking grab of the banking sector, the poor investment disposition of dominant utilities, and even the questionable work permit-related issues and practices of our immigration department all reflect our subjugation to capital dominance. Barbados not only needs a viable growth strategy, Barbados needs to grow from the inside. I refer here to the need for growth platforms that facilitate an homegrown economy with domestic boosters designed for export thrust. We must commit robustly to the construction of new platforms of opportunity and ownership and own. We must commit robustly to the construction of new platforms of opportunity and ownership. These fields and hills beyond recall are now our very own, must move beyond the realm of idea to the reality of the ideal we pursue and actually create. There is a challenge of our sustainable development aspirations. Coastal patrimony has significantly been lost to foreign presence, precluding access to beach lands for various purposes. Climate change dynamics are significant and serious and add to the threat of such coastal integrity. Coral bleaching, coastal degradation induced by tidal current impact, and the negatives of hotel-related practices are insufficiently exposed as a story in Barbados. How much of our coastal resource and endowment has been lost in the process during the last 53 years? Our economic vision for tourism-related development along our southwestern corridor has a serious potential to exacerbate this situation. Corrupt practices also constitute a challenge to our sustainable development. Questionable award of contracts and consultancies only slightly mask the misuse of state funds for narrow partisan ends. The culture of overly confrontational politics as well erodes our capacity and potential for development. There's a challenge to our social values architecture. We have been accepting, and rightly so, of models of family structure built on cohabitation of opposite gender units and the procreation of progeny. We seem ready to embrace an alternative model which incorporates same-sex units and the elimination of procreation. This government needs to make it irrefutably clear that this will not happen under their watch. Family is our primary national organic institution. We must commit to protecting and preserving the integrity of that institution. Barbadians share a sensitive awareness of the fragility of the institution in the face of the internal dynamics to which family life is normally subject. We are equally aware of the vulnerability of the institution due to the now contemporary socio-cultural threats. The Barbados National Strategic Plan 2005 to 2025 outlines 12 core values to which we subscribe as a people. Family is one such value. I urge, therefore, the government to underscore its commitment by means of policy orientation and formulation, as well as expenditure allocation to this important institution. At age 53, there must be a shared and unshaken understanding that freedom cannot ever become licensed to wantonness or self-serving, especially that which may be injurious to household, to neighbors, to communities, and to the nation family at large. Values this deconstruction is a sinister agenda which challenges some long-standing Barbadian precepts, threatens family stability while espousing a platform of victimization and discrimination designed to color notions of freedom. Our commitment must be, one, to brand Barbados globally. This we must do because we are strict guardians of our heritage. We must be absolutely clear as to what that brand is. Two, to build social capital, the pursuit of nation-building paradigms that allows nothing to erode that capital, but rather ensures that as a nation and as a people, we greater grow in strength and unity. To birth new governance structures for new times, that's number three. And by this we give expression to our sovereignty as firm craftsmen of our fate, not subjugated to the whims and wiles of those who would deconstruct our values platform or make servant instruments of our parliament and government. Under God, we must, as Barbadians, command our own destiny. On behalf of the party I have the honor to lead, the People's Party, on behalf of the opposition, on behalf of my family and myself, I offer a salute to our nation on this, its 53rd birthday, and wish all a happy Independence Day. Blessings.